£300.
Sorry about that.
No, you're so
Um,
fine.
okay, yeah, no, it's so difficult. Okay, well, I'm gonna start recording,
Yeah.
but yeah. Okay, so would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm GUIA. I'm a singer-songwriter and an artist, and I make pop music. I make pop music.
Yay.
Sometimes can speak pop words, but
Okay, and today we're gonna be talking about your new EP, Hymns. Would you like
Mhm.
to introduce that project?
Yes, it's my first exercise in pop writing, and I wanted it to feel like a blank slate and something that people could identify themselves with and place their own memories and aspirations within. So I wanted to keep the project maximalist in the production, but have like sort of like a white empty container where people could sort of like mirror themselves and insert themselves into the narrative of the songs. But it's mainly synth pop and dream pop. The songs, some follow a traditional ABAB structure, some follow a more loose structure inspired by electronic music, and it's all composed and produced by my best friend Zach, his art name is Tagore, stage name. Cannot speak English today, it seems, but
You're all good. Tagore, you said? Is Zach?
Tagore, yeah.
I
It's
also,
T-A,
yeah,
sorry?
yeah, go for it. T-A?
It's Tagor, basically.
Oh, Tagore, okay. Cool. And then I saw you were talking about also a gram.
Grant, probably.
Grant. Yeah.
Yeah, Grant did some additional guitar on Swallow Me on Heartstrings. He's one, basically, Zach used to live in New York for a couple of years, and Grant is from Miami, but he used to live in New York, and he's literally like such a guitar fanatic, and he kind of like freestyle stuff on top of it, and especially in Heartstrings, like he had this like crazy pedal effect, and it sounds like almost like saxophone towards the end of the song, but yeah, he's a guitar player.
Super cool. Oh, is there anyone else you want to like shout out about the project?
A few people, yeah. My best friend Riley, who I also run our international with. It's a magazine,
Mm.
and they designed the cover. My friend Anne, who shot the image. My friend Lola, Miss Corpus, who is a designer. She designs most of my stage gear, and she designed the symbol on the cover, so that one. And also my friend Nova, who helped sort of like shape the imagery of the first singles and like kind of like really informed the world. And she also directed the video for Brightcore last year.
Oh my gosh, so cool. Okay, so I did want to get started about with Bright Core.
Yeah,
I noticed it was like one of the first ones that is really finished, right, a year ago.
yeah.
I'm wondering how did Bright Core set the tone for the rest of the hymns?
Um, Basically, me and Zach were going back and forth because Swallow Me was always meant to be the lead single, and we worked on that song for like 4 years. But I was like, no, we got to do Swallow Me because that's the best one. Like the lead single always comes first. I'm Italian, so I'm like a bit more like tradition. Like even though I've lived in the UK for 10 years and I'm crazy, like I'm still like more traditional than Zach because he grew up in London his whole life. And he was like, but that doesn't make any sense. Like we could do things differently. And I was like, oh, we've got to do the lead single.
Ah,
And then I kind of stopped, and Zach was like, but like a party track is always like the first single that people release. Like think about Just Dance by Gaga, like TikTok by Kesha. That's the two examples I can think of.
yeah,
But he basically was like, let's just release Brightcore and make a video with all of our friends so that people see that there's like an actual real life community behind the music.
yeah,
And also like made sense, like the way that the song starts. Um Wait, can you hear me still? Sorry, it's like
yeah, I
lagging
can
a
hear
bit.
you. Can you hear me?
Okay, fab. But yeah, I can. Um, but what was I gonna say? Yeah, basically, like it was like narrating like the circumstances under which me and Zach met. We met at a club night in London, and the first year of being here, I was literally like partying all the time, having part-time jobs, being at uni, and I sort of like found myself in like dark corners of London, and that's also when me and Zach met, and we also loved the concept of like going through all these like dingy basements and afters and doing drugs and partying, and then you kind of like retain your bright core. So like you retain like your brightness throughout all of that. And that's something that we always felt. And I don't know, we were like friends for like 5 years before we even started making music together. So that's how it came about. And then I did the sequencing of DP literally like 2 weeks before it came out. And I was like, okay, well, let's just do it in chronological order. That makes sense. And
Yeah.
that's
So then it was Ingloria, then Swallow Me, then Heartstrings. Is that the correct order?
that's correct order, yeah.
Okay, so cool. I think that's so interesting what you said about retaining brightness after the
Yeah.
afters. Because I did when I was listening to the EP, I've been listening to it, just trying to suck in all the energy, you know. I did kind of get this sense that there was almost like something maybe spiritual about it, like almost like are you familiar with the concept of Kali Yuga?
No, actually.
It's sort of this idea of the life of life being this cycle and
Hmm.
about how unfortunately we're in the sort of bad age, the Kali Yuga. You know, it's like golden, silver, bronze Kali Yuga. And I think
Yeah.
that's kind of an energy that I get a lot from the album is kind of this, or the EP, I'm sorry, is like this, like you said, like retaining your brightness, like kind of like persisting through this darkness. Is that something that was inspiring, or I don't know, was there anything spiritual about it for you?
For sure. I think like we all went through a lot of darkness in our teen years. Like all the friends are involved in the project are also like the closest people to me. And something that we speak about, like aside from work, is really like being able to kind of like transcend all these places. Like there's so many people that went so dark sided that we had like we were partying with when we were like 21, and then we're like, okay, we feel like sort of like the survivors is a bit like insensitive, but like we
Yeah.
kind of made it through and like retained the brightness because so many people lost the spark, and most of all like they lost like humanity and stuff. Like we kind of like that's the big thing that we all have in common in this friendship group. And so it's like something that I look for in people. Like I think like the main reason why I want to do music, I do music is because I want connection with people. Like it's
Yeah.
less about communicating something, but it's like, okay, like so you also grew up in like a small town and like you also like listened to Gaga and like Grimes, and like you were like, okay, there's like freaks like me in the world, and like there's like I don't know, there's like that sort of feeling is the reason why I do it. I also enjoy like the work. I love singing, all of that. Like I love being creative, but I think at the core of it, excuse the pun, there's that wanting to connect, and I feel like you can't connect or write from an earnest place unless you retain the brightness. That
Yeah.
makes sense. It's definitely, to answer your question, is definitely spiritual, basically.
Yeah, no, but that makes sense. Like you can't write from a void, you know? You have to write from this energy source. And I think that's one thing that I was interested about is there's this idea of self-invention and this idea of but also this idea of like an echo that you're trying to do like a hymn. If I understand it right. Let me know if I didn't. But
No, like it's really moving me. Like you're really understanding like the nuances and the folds of it. So it's really moving me.
great. I that is one thing that I was a little bit interested in is kind of asking you like for example in Brightcore you're talking about endlessly creating yourself, right? Um and then at the same time I think while you have been promoting it you've been talking about how you want this to be sort of like I said this echo of hymns and that people will find it and it will be their own in your
Yeah.
words. So I wonder how does that work? There's this concept in the EP about this echo, but at the same time it's you that is at the center of it. So
Yeah.
it like how is that I don't know, how is there a juxtaposition that like how does that work?
I haven't resolved it yet in my head. I think like the fact that it's me at the forefront is more of like a practical thing. It's just like really easy to sort of like attach branding and image to a singular person. But I also wanted the project itself, like forget about the promotion now, like say in like 10 years time, like I want the project to feel as much of a blank slate as possible so people can still sort of like find themselves in the music. That makes sense.
Yeah.
The the sort of like persona thing is more of like a okay, I want to like stop having like side jobs and really focus on the music. Like this is something I can do because I have like a background in fashion and art direction. So I'm like this feels like a good medium to sort of like translate the world and bring more attention to the world. But then like not that I would love to step off the limelight necessarily because there's a part of me that enjoys it, but I think in an ideal world, if I had the resources, then I would take a lot more of a step back so I can just like write and write and write. It's
Mm.
just like a means to an end, if that makes sense. It's
Yeah.
just like making the machine well oiled, and then when that's done, then I can just like step back and maybe like even start producing. I just don't have the time or means at the minute, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
No, that makes sense.
Um, but yeah, something that I haven't really resolved in my head, and I wish I thought about a bit better. But once again, not a lot of resources, not a lot of time. So it's like it does it. It's a bit conflicting. But I think like the persona, the me-centric stuff is like more for the now. And
Mhm.
then the hymns quality of it, I hope will live through. If that makes sense.
No, that literally makes total sense. I think like now that I'm thinking about it, it's like you're right now providing this light and then the light sort of fades out, but you still want it to be there. So it's kind of almost like a project that is going to be constantly fed by other people's invention. Maybe you want to.
Completely.
Yeah. So I want to know the making of Bright Core, how was the music video? Like what was the process?
Oh my God, there wasn't even a process. Like we Nova hadn't done like big commercial jobs yet, and I've done video editing and like used Black Magics and stuff, and she just got like a Black Magic camera, so we were like, right, we can just do it all ourselves, blah blah. But we also have this like really high standard because we've all been working for so long, so it's weird because we've been on sets doing different jobs, so we have this like high standard in our heads, but obviously we don't have the budget and or the skills to do that. So we kind of were like, okay, we're gonna shoot it in our kitchen. We have one light that our friend left us, but we're gonna make it chic. It's gonna be great. And then it's like it was literally like a bunch of people in our kitchen. I literally shot the Gloria thing in our kitchen. There's just like a big white wall in North London, and we just shot it in the kitchen. I keep saying kitchen, but yeah, it was like just like me and Nova basically like brainstorming. I really wanted it to feel powdery. That was like my main word, and then really
Mhm.
sort of like 80s meets um sort of like early 2010s internet, which I think we achieved it. And luckily we have like crazy looking friends that are really into dressing up and don't have a lot of qualms when it comes to being on camera. And yeah, so we did that, and then I went to Italy because I had some family stuff to sort out. I came back. Me and Nova shot the cover for our magazine that I run, and then after that, we did a whole day where we were really stoned. And first mistake, huge. And we were like, um, because I was like really anxious, and she put me like sclera lenses and stuff, like to do that scene with the balloons.
Oh,
And she was like, just have a puff of the J, it's gonna be fine.
shit.
It wasn't fine. And then there was like loads of like I love dressing up, but like sometimes I forget that there's like a lot of factors going on. So
Yeah.
it's like we didn't see it was all a lot. So we did that, and then I got changed and we got a taxi to a bridge that's near Zach's house, my producer and best friend. And it's called Albert Bridge, and it literally looks like Disneyland, and it's like such a special
Oh,
place for all of us. It's like in West London, and we literally went there and like shot a bunch of stuff. But there was no process. Like it was just like, okay, how can we make this look the best with literally like a
but
piece of cake
I
and a
love it.
dream.
I love it though. So I guess um like kind of a follow-up is like what is that process? I mean if it's not a structured process that's fine, but what is that whole situation of creating or translating your visual language onto the music or the other way?
I think I'm like really adamant to do music to really be sure of the music first because I'm so like I'm naturally a singer and I'm naturally like a visual person. I'm like I think like writing is something that I have more as a practice and it's something that really feeds me. But like, because I have like a background in fashion and like art direction, so that comes like so easy to me to like brainstorm ideas that I
Mm.
like really force myself to like focus in on the music and make sure that that's like a really tight piece of work, and then I'm allowing myself to then think about the visuals. But I think like I've always had a very specific like core taste. I keep saying core, but a core taste that's like very rooted in the 80s and all of that. And like I was a massive Lady Gaga fan growing up, and like sort of like really synthy stuff. And then the sort of like visual counterpart to that has also been like a massive inspiration. So it was like easy to like sort of like have the base ingredients, and then it took like a little bit to like refine and be like, okay, we're gonna do a square lip. Okay, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. We're not gonna do a stretched typeface. We're gonna do a simple. Sorry, my flat is really loud. But yeah, we're gonna do a simple, like Helvetica, blah blah. So it's just like kind of
Um,
like there's the core taste of like, okay, we know what the ingredients that we want, and also another thing is like knowing what's like really yours. Do you know what I mean? Because at
mm,
one point I was like, oh, I'm really like experimental club because I was in London loads and there was like loads of deconstructed club, and then I was like, wait, no, that's not me. I like beautiful
right,
vocals and accents. That's not. I don't want to
right.
do chopped and screwed,
Oh my,
which I love to listen to. It's like that feels weird for me to be like niki niki niki. Do you know what I mean?
right. Yeah. No, that's such a good point. Like enjoying the scene around you, but still kind of preserving your own taste
Yeah,
is really cool. Um, okay, I want to talk about Ingloria.
yeah.
What are you saying?
I like that is also like a thing. Like this is like my first like proper project, so I've been like figuring out things as we go, and now I have like clarity on what should happen and what shouldn't.
Right.
And I love the song so much, but it was like it doesn't. The things that I want to do career wise do not align with an experimental Italian song for now. That's like that's the thing that I was like, but it's it's basically like a hymn to idealism, and it's basically talking about like the tension of like being home and coming from like a smaller place, a very, very Italian place, from a very normal Italian family, and being like, okay, I want this like huge immense thing that you don't understand, and I want it like in a very specific way. And I'm gonna like go really far away to find it, and then I kind of like lose myself in the process. But
Mm,
it's mainly like written to my gran who just passed, and like yeah, she was like a big like supporter of mine, like in a really deep way. So like she was like quite like spiritual as well, not in like a Christian Catholic way,
yeah.
because the rest of the family is, but like she was really like she really saw things, so it was kind of like a way of like honoring that, and it's like a very specific feeling of like, okay, I feel incredibly guilty, but like I need to follow this thing that's like completely bigger than myself till
Mm,
the end, no matter what. That's
yeah,
it, basically.
you do talk about that a lot. Like especially I feel like Swallow Me, it does feel like you say like last chance to leave it all behind. Is that so
Mhm.
is that you leaving Italy last chance? Like is that you
I
or
think Ingloria is more specific to that experience. I think Swallow Me is just like honestly every like couple of months I'm like I should just move to Japan,
oh
like this is
okay.
like you know what I mean. Sort of looks more like the dirty, grittier sister to Gloria. And Gloria, it's like the idealism, like want to
Mm,
make my family proud, but also like this is the way that I want to live my life and blah blah. But so I mean, it's more like okay, no matter what, I'm gonna want to keep running, and this is just something that I need to deal with, basically.
yeah, okay, well that's interesting. I guess we can transition into Swallow Me. This is like this one took a long time to make, right? 3 years. Um Yeah, what are you leaving behind? You said like you're on the run. Is there something that you're running away from? What is running to? What is the
I think it's like more running too. Like it's the idea of like you have like this like idealized version of like what you want your life to be and like the things that you love and like a specific it's more like chasing a feeling, like a specific feeling. Like I had a long-term partner for 4 years, and we're still friends, and she always said like don't be worried about moving away. Like we always find our people. Like we always find like the same feeling that we're chasing. Like wherever it was one of those months that I had that I was like, I need to move to Paris. I need to move to Japan. London is too great. Like I need to go. Um, but yeah, it's more of that thing of like, okay, we're always gonna chase this like sparkly feeling. Another one of my close friends calls this specific vibe like having a galaxy brain. So like chasing like the most galaxy brain thing that you can do. It's
Galaxy.
more
I love that.
he's Irish, so it's like funny as fuck. Like it's always like galaxy brain thoughts, and it's like yeah.
I'm writing that down. That's so good.
I also like love the idea like there's like loads of like Sarah chat like for ages like tell me if you want to like if you
No,
want me to
you're doing good. It's an interview, so go for it.
but what was I gonna say? Yeah, so like I love this idea of like star-crossed lovers or like being able to like find sparkles of joy or like find something that like moves you through the noise and the rubble and all of that. Like I really love that as a concept. And I also come from like a really sort of like run down city in Italy. Like it's now getting a bit more gentrified, but the city center is like really like medieval and run down and like really, really industrial. So I've always had that kind of like wasteland feeling
Oh,
around. I don't know how to describe
okay.
it, but it's like a very, it's not like the Italy that you see like when people like go, I don't know, to like the coast and stuff. Like the city itself is like quite gritty. So I've always loved that feeling of like finding the beauty amongst the rubble, whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's that. But it was originally written because my city, Geneva, also like floods really often, and there was like a really big flood when I was like younger,
Oh,
and we were like all like rescued from school. It was like a huge thing. So it was like that thing of like natural disaster without like be like, oh, what a right, but like I hate like
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
want to
yeah.
like appropriate the tragedy because like people passed and stuff, and it was like actually a horrible time. But that's kind of like what inspired me to then write it, that sort of experience.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like you're saying, like that you were living kind of in like this rundown area, and maybe that's home for you then?
It's not even like a rundown area. There's just like this like patina of time over everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like really like industrial and rusted. Like even when you go to the beach, it's all sort of like rocks and like I wouldn't say like I come from a rundown area specifically. Like it's just like there's like a patina of time over everything.
Yeah,
Um, which is something I carry with me, I think.
yeah, that's so interesting. It's like you have it in you, but you're also running away from it, it feels like.
I think so. I'm realizing I'm saying a lot of contrasting things, but
No,
like
it's I think it's there's someone that said like that's how you find the deepest things in the world are things that are so contrasting because they're just complex like that. But
that's that. Like also like
yeah.
you know that like I can't remember who said it, but like that thing about like living in such like a hyper normalized time that like we need complex narratives to like keep feeling human. Like I really believe in that. I'm like, okay, I don't want to like be dumbed down, even though my screen time is like 13 hours, like literally jail time. But like I really want to feed the world with like complex narratives because I feel like that like when we stop doing that, that's when scary stuff happens politically and socially. So
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, anti-intellectualism is on the rise.
I know.
No. Okay, so let's talk about heartstrings. So the heartstrings is it kind of felt like a love song to me.
For sure.
Yeah.
For
Um,
sure.
I want to know like a little bit more about heartstrings. Can you speak on it?
Yeah, for sure. I had like kind of like a really transformative year and a half in terms of like love life because I've been queer my whole life. I've always been with women, and then I started dating men, and it
Oh,
was kind of like a fun thing. Don't ask me why, what happened. I don't know, but like it was. I was like, okay, fun, whatever, and like I was like, this is fun. I'm experimenting, whatever, and then through like a hookupy casual situation, I kind of fell in love with this older man, and we like it was just like a really intense thing that like then kind of crashed. Weird as fuck, but it was like the probably like the realest feelings I've ever had for someone. And it was like the first summer I was like, oh my God, wait, maybe I can have this life of like being crazy and like doing my art and like being mental, like traveling, blah blah, and then also having a home with someone.
Mm.
And that was like kind of like written in the moment of like really like the peak of like the feelings. And I was like, this, okay, I can like finally rest my head. Like it was really like a physical feeling of being like, okay, I'm home. Then obviously complications arise, but it was
Yeah.
nice in the moment. And I really wanted to honor that because it really changed me at my core. Like it
Mm.
really m- like made me know that love was possible and stuff. I don't know what the future holds, whatever partners will look like, but that was that was basically like me wanting to encapsulate that because it was a really pure feeling. So I was like, this feels worth writing about. Me and Zach actually like bickered about it because Zach was like, I don't think I don't think we should write heartstrings. I think three songs is enough. And I was like,
Really?
again, like I really pushed for it in the beginning, and then he like really loved it. But like we're always like we're so close, like at a soul level that like we kind of like know where to push and pull, and like we
Mhm.
both come from like exact similar tastes, but like very different approaches. Like Zach kind of researches, but I'm like really like avid an avid researcher, whereas
Mm.
he's more like let's make something new. Like we kind of like push and pull at the same time, but
Yeah.
that's what it was. It was like a pure feeling. But I did like the second half, that was like definitely a love song. The first half I wrote in the car after like my best friend had surgery, Lola, who
Mm.
made the cover. She had surgery and we all went to see her in South London, and one of our friends like drove us. And like it was like such an emotional time for everyone. I won't go like into it because out of respect for her, but like it was like such an emotional time. And then I was in the car and we were like listening to Venice Bitch by Lana, and it was like such a cinematic moment. And I was like, ah, this is like so beautiful. But yeah, that song is very pure. It's like I can't listen to it too much because it brings up loads of stuff. So I'm like,
Oh my God, yeah, I'm sure. Jesus, it's a loaded song for sure.
completely.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was gonna say I did get like the love song, but then at the end I sort of felt like this nostalgia almost, like so maybe that was the second part.
Completely.
Yeah. Okay, I just have a couple more questions left.
Yeah.
So I want to know what, and I feel like you maybe have already told me this, the answer, but why is there such I don't know if why, okay, I'll just say, why is there such a focus on this graphic world, or sort of like abstraction with the pixel pout, with the figures, with, you know, all of the visual references?
I think it mainly comes from an obsession with like the 80s. Like that's like my favorite sort of decade to like reference for like shapes and sort of like visual language, especially like people um like Klaus Nomi, like really like I don't know Claude Montana, like really sort of like sharp things. I also like on like a more stupid note, like there was like a huge sort of like Neolithic looking vibe in London, and I really partook in that, and I was like, this doesn't feel crunchy or fun enough for me.
Yeah. What
And then
vibe
I
are
was
you
like,
talking about? Like in London?
it's kind of like I don't know how to describe it, but like swampy, sort of like very like rocks and natural fibers and stuff.
Oh,
And
okay,
I did
okay.
that for a second. But I think I was more like that was like when I was dipping my toe in the scene properly, and I was like, oh, maybe like this feels new, this and that. And then I was like, what I really like is like really glam stuff, and I love the 80s.
Yeah.
I love big shapes, and then also like I don't know, just 2010s like visual language and stuff. Like I was like deep in Tumblr and like deep into all of that when I was younger. So it was like loads of like less good graphicness, but still graphicness. And then it also comes from like again, it's like more of like a tool thing. Like it's really recognizable as well. It's like really sharp. And I'm
Yeah,
like in terms of like branding, I mean it's not like I've like had amazing achievements yet, but like I feel like it's like it makes it recognizable. But I'm also like upon second inspection, I'm like, does it really match the like gooey nature of the like of the music? I don't know. But
I think so.
okay.
I'm interested to see where you'll go from here.
Mhm.
It's such a beautiful experience, the whole everything, because I've been following you maybe for like a couple months now, maybe like half a year. So I've really seen you like build it. I remember seeing you go to the Addison Rae concert, and I was like, okay, like,
But like some of my friends are like, she's so involved with like Israel, blah blah. But I'm like, she
oh,
like
bro, I didn't even
maybe
know.
she has like bad morals, but God, that was like the best like show I've ever seen in my
Right,
life. Like, it was better than Beyonce. It was better than Gaga. Like
better than
it
Beyonce.
was.
That's
I
great.
mean, like okay, better than Beyonce. It's like in a different way.
Right.
Like was refreshing.
I'm sure, yeah. I bet. I feel like, yeah. I liked what you said about it being like high production, and then I feel like also I felt that translated into your album or your EP, like with it just felt like it's just so like everything has a place in your EP, you know? It's like it doesn't feel like anything wasn't thought of.
Thank you. It definitely took a long time. Like we were meant to release it in June, and then like things keep getting delayed. But like me and Zach are such like control freaks as well. So like we want it to be excellent. So I'm glad that it reads that way because it was really thought about. And also I know I keep like shouting out my friends and stuff, but it's like really like a labor of love, and
Or yeah.
it's like really like special to have to like cosmically be so aligned with people coming from like the north of England, like the Isle of Man, um, like Italy. Like it's just like we're all sort of like found ourselves in this point, and then also managed to make something. I find that really special.
Yes. Well, congratulations to you, to Zach, to Grant, to Lola, to Riley, to everyone. This is such an amazing project. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you. Thanks
Yes.
so.
Well, those are all the questions I have for you. Is there anything else you would like to say?
Um, we I don't like again. I don't have any dates because we don't have a lot of structure behind us, so we're just doing everything ourselves. But we're gonna release a remix project for the EP. So it's gonna like be remixes of all the songs, and it's gonna be like a counterpart to hymns. That's gonna be like a bit more like colorful and stuff. Should
Ooh.
come end of Jan, might be February. That that's just how
Take your time.
we
Take your
roll at
time.
the minute. But yeah, that's basically it. And thank you so much for taking the time. That was like so thoughtful and such a lovely time. And I'm such a fan of like your work. And it's so nice to like speak with someone who really understands the world and treats it with care. So yeah, that meant a lot. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, you. Okay, well, have a nice day. I'm gonna stop the recording. Hold on.